Hey guys, I'm Dr. Andy. Today I want to tell you and explain to you a little bit of an anatomy lesson and physiology lesson. This is the pain pathway. So the more you understand how it works, the better you will actually be able to help control your pain going forward in the future. So this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Sorry. This is your brain. This is your spinal cord. All right, and so each one of these little lines is an individual neuron. I am going to run you through it, explain to you how when you have an injury, how you end up in pain, and then what we can do about it to help you feel better. All right, so right down here, let's say you have an injury. Let's stub your toe, or maybe you strain that low back, okay? When you have an injury, that site, maybe the muscles, maybe the joints, they give off cytokines and prostaglandins, basically some chemicals that activate what we call the first order neuron. The first order neuron is something called a nociceptor. It's a nerve that picks up these signals to carry pain to your brain, okay? So right here, the first order neuron carries that signal from the site, your toe or your low back, to something called the dorsal horn. The dorsal horn is inside your spinal cord in your spine, okay? Right here, it connects to the second order neuron, and that second order neuron carries that message all the way up to the lower part of your brain called the thalamus, right? At the thalamus, in the lower part of your brain, it connects to the third order neuron, which is now the third neuron in this pathway, and carries it to your sensory cortex, which is the top part of your brain, which is where you actually feel sensations. So you don't feel pain at any of these other parts. The pain sensation that you feel in that toe or in that low back is actually coming from up here in your brain at the third neuron at the sensory cortex. So you have an injury which releases some chemicals, activates the first neuron. That message is then sent, basically different carriers are traveling, are carrying that message from the first carrier to the second carrier, and then the third carrier, each one a nerve, carrying the message all the way up to the sensory cortex, which is where you feel pain. All right? So what can we do about it? If you just hurt your low back, what am I going to do to cancel these out so that you can feel better? Okay? Chiropractic manipulative therapy. That is the chiropractic adjustment. What does it do? All right? That specifically works on the first order neuron. If your injury is producing chemicals that are going to activate that neuron, well, actually, a chiropractic adjustment turns those off. It basically makes it so the site of injury is no longer going to produce those chemicals which activate the first order neuron. All right? That's the first thing we can do. But we can also add in some exercise, get you picking up some heavy things, get your body moving a little bit. What does that do? It actually cancels out both the second and the third order neurons. How it does this is that for the second one, it actually activates something called the descending inhibitory pathway, which is another set bundle of nerves which cancels out and interrupts the signal or the transmission of that signal right here at the dorsal horn. All right, so basically cancels it out. All right, so that's how it affects the second order neuron. But it also affects the third order neuron because you feel better about yourself. And a big part of the sensation of pain is our anxiety, our stress about it, really kind of the way that we battle with it inside of our brain, okay? So if you can reduce the stress on the third order neuron, you're gonna start to kill that pain level as well. So that's what exercise does. And then we tell you a little bit maybe about something like this, explain to you where pain comes from, explain how we're going to help. And the more education, the more that we can tell you about it, and the more we can empower you about this pathway, it does the same thing as exercise. It reduces the strain and reduces the stress on that third order neuron, canceling out your pain right there. So starts with an injury, transmits through 3 different carriers, 3 different nerves, all the way up to where we feel pain in the brain. and then 3 different things that we can do to cancel out that 1, 2, and 3 to make you feel a whole lot better. If you have any questions, send them my way. Always remember to live with passion and not pain.